Hello and welcome to GRTV's MPO Showcase. I'm Julie Way, the MPO Outreach Coordinator for the Community Media Center. MPO Showcase provides an opportunity for nonprofit and government groups in the greater Grand Rapids area to discuss the work that they're doing in our community. Our guest today is John Potter, Executive Director of the Grand Rapids Area Professionals for Excellence, which is also known as GRAPE. John will tell us about the work of GRAPE and how professionals from all fields can benefit from the organization. Welcome, John.
Welcome.
Thanks for coming on today. And we're excited to hear about GRAPE. So just to get started, can you tell us what the mission and work of your organization is?
Sure, it's very simple. GRAPE is really about helping promote the pursuit of professional excellence. So we do that in several different ways. One way is we host speakers that inspire excellence, at least we hope, and these are local speakers. The other way is we recognize professionals who exemplify excellence, local professionals. And then we're in the midst of looking at whether we should put together a training program to develop excellence. That's going to take a while, but we're hopefully optimistic about that.
So can you expand on that about the excellence? What do you feel that excellence is, or what does GRAPE really strive for when you're saying excellence?
Well, you know, when we first started, we were perceived as a networking group, and in some quarters we still are. But for me personally, I always look at it as synonymous with continuous learning, especially in the field you're at. So one of the things that we always try to do when we have speakers is make sure that they're providing some value to professionals in terms of learning, not just in certain people's fields, but in all fields. So for instance, if we have something on financial services, it won't be just for financial professionals, but for all people to learn.
Very good. I love what you said about continuous education. I think that's so important, as you said, in any field.
Well, it's really required today. I mean, you can't stand still. And it's empowering and edifying.
And it's how you become an expert.
Yes, yes.
Very good. So you shared a little bit before, but how did the organization get started, and why did you think, I have to do this here in Grand Rapids now?
Well, most people were surprised that I actually was a college librarian for quite a while. And for a few years there in the late, well, actually 6 years ago, I started to feel like I wasn't getting out enough. And so I was on LinkedIn, and I called a lot of the people that I knew locally from LinkedIn to meet at the Black Rose bar downtown when it was around. And I met a guy named Dan Banta. He's in sales, or he was in sales, and we kind of formed a partnership and a friendship to do this networking group every month and maybe host speakers. We didn't have an idea of forming a nonprofit or an LLC or anything like that. We just enjoyed doing it. And we enjoy meeting new people. And we did that for 4 or 5 years. And then we switched to an LLC very briefly. We thought that's not really working. And then I met other people who said, you know, you should make this into a nonprofit. We made it into a nonprofit, and we received a ton of volunteers coming at us and saying, you know, I'd like to help with this. And so it's grown exponentially in the last year or two.
Very good, yeah, and a cool idea, I think, to make it into a nonprofit. I mean, you're providing a service and a resource to the community, so it makes a perfect sense.
It is, and being a nonprofit, I mean, it's a different animal. You have a governing board, you have committees, you have people view the organization differently, and you have to think carefully about how you're perceived by the public.
Sure thing. So part of your main work is holding the monthly events with the speakers, and so there's a network period, and then there's the speaker, you know, speaking on a topic.
Correct.
Why did you feel that it was so important to make it both a networking and a learning experience for people?
Well, you know, I think there's a danger, especially in some professional societies, where you only meet people in your industry. One of the things that I really like about how we structured GRAPE is that you don't know who you're going to meet. And a lot of people have come to me and says, you know, I love the diversity in this group. You know, someone in sales can meet someone who's a financial services professional or someone else in HR. And that's exactly what we're trying to aim for. We don't want it to be pigeonholed as, you know, just one group of industry professionals. So people really like that.
And they can learn from each other too, which is another part of that continuous
exactly.
learning.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
very good. So you've said that the topics range kind of all over. If you do a financial topic, for example, you'll do it in a general way so that everyone can use that information. Can you tell us about what some of the past topics have been, or some of those past learning opportunities?
Sure. Just this year, we've had topics on human resources, public relations, legal services, leadership, and they have been open to the public in such a way that anyone can learn. And then afterwards, by the way, we actually give industry awards out. So for instance, if we're doing a public relations theme, we'll give out, let's say, a Young Leadership Award or Distinguished Leadership Award in public relations. And by young, I mean under 35. And this is a great way to bring attention to people in the community, people who might not otherwise be noticed. And so that's really been gratifying to see that.
And provides kind of a role model for others too.
Right, exactly. So we give, we have photographs at the end where we throw their name and their picture out on social media and say, hey, look at this person. This person is someone that our Excellence Review Committee thought was great. And by the way, when we give out these awards, we have a process, whereas we have peers from that industry nominate the person, and then once we get a nomination list put together, we give it to our Excellence Review Committee, which is actually composed of fellows from the American Society of Quality. So we try to make it as, I guess, process-oriented, so to speak, as possible.
But still taking those nominations from people who understand the field and,
Right.
are there and have those people that they can kind of hold up there.
Right. I mean, there's actually a lot of debate as to who we should award the award to. And we look at testimonials and LinkedIn profiles and what other people have to say. And sometimes it's really hard to choose because there's so many great professionals in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, that's a great point. So your award, that's the GRAPE Excellence Award.
That's correct.
Correct. Very good.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, you just never know the type of people you're going to run into and form a relationship, a professional relationship with, and it's very gratifying, especially from someone who used to be a college librarian who was really into learning but through books. Now I'm trying to learn through people.
Sure. Well, I think that kind of speaks to other people too. If you, like you said, you get so much into your own work and you kind of don't see that outside picture. So it gives them a whole new perspective. Well,
the key, I think, is to get out of your comfort zone, to be open to new possibilities, and to realize you have nothing to lose. I talked to this one woman who has her own radio show now locally, Teresa Blakely, and she once said, the worst thing that people can say to you is no. And usually they don't. They want to meet with you, they want to get to know you, and you only gain from meeting other people. In a similar fashion, there's another guy named Tony Rubleski, and he says, if you give of yourself, people will remember you and recall you. And he has this giver gains philosophy, and I'm trying to incorporate it in my own life, where if I give myself to others, it comes back to me, and I take that very seriously.
So let's talk more about the events, where they're held and when are they held, and how can people find out more about that?
Well, they can go to our website, which is grapegr.org. We're holding a lot of our events at the Grand Rapids Community Foundation. We're in talks now with the Grand Rapids Griffins to hold them at the Van Andel Institute maybe this fall. We'll have to see if that comes to pass. But they're usually held downtown, and they're usually held in the middle of the day. We're looking at maybe moving the time a little bit later in the day because we've had some requests to do so. So we'll see if that's a possibility. But again, we try to make it convenient for people to come to these events, not holding them, far away from downtown, but actually as close as possible to downtown. Yeah. So, and it can be a challenge because, like anything, when you're a nonprofit, sometimes it's hard to struggle for funds, and then you have to find venues to pay, but that tends to work itself out.
Very good. So can people become a member of your organization, or how does that work?
Well, right now we don't charge membership fees, and we've been very careful not to do so because we realize that I mean, we have so many different topics and so many different people come to these events. Someone may come 1 year and not come for another 2 years. So we realize that's the case and we don't charge membership fees. We might do so in the future if we have other benefits that we can offer, but that's not the case right now. And so we charge a minimal fee to cover our costs when we have these events, and so far so good.
All right, and another thing I thought was really interesting is that really part of the reason that the organization started was because of LinkedIn, a social network.
Right, LinkedIn has been tremendously valuable, and I love LinkedIn. I mean, it's really my favorite social media. And you know, it's really undervalued as a tool as well to get to know people within the community. Sometimes people will come to me and says, you know, how do I get business in this community, or how do I meet new people? I said, well, you know, LinkedIn is great to kind of browse, but if you really want to find the right people, use advanced search. And so that's my kind of tip of the day when people come to me. You know, I said, use advanced search, you can find just the right people that you're looking for.
Yeah, and what a cool thing, I think, just really shows the power of social networking. I mean, it really helped, like I said, kick off your organization. It's what brought you together. And
you know, there's just nothing really more gratifying than getting to know someone, a new friend or new acquaintance, and it just makes the day so much easier and you know, better. I'd have to say within the last 5 years, my life has completely changed just because I took that step to get to know people in the community. And so I strongly advise anyone who is kind of thinking about doing more networking, get out there and do it. You'll be happy you did so.
This sounds like a good and beneficial place to start.
Yes, definitely.
Very good. Well, just to wrap up, tell us again how people can get in touch with you, and if there's volunteer opportunities.
Yes, they can reach me at john@grapegr.org or call me. My number is 616-745-2985. But yes, we have a website, grapegr.org, and if you are on meetup.com or Eventbrite, you can find our events there. This month we're having the president of Grand Valley State speak, and also Dr. Haas, and also the provost of Western Michigan University speak. Her name is Dawn Gamer. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be on July 23rd at 11:30 at the Grand Rapids Community Foundation. So I think that's going to be highly well attended and highly popular. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right, so people can jump onto your website or your social media and
Right.
find out the information and attend an event.
Just do a search for GRAPE or GRAPE GR on Google or meetup.com or Eventbrite. You'll find it. Find the events.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for coming on today and for telling us more about GRAPE.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for joining us today to learn about GRAPE and how they're supporting professionals in our community. Would your nonprofit like to be featured on MPO Showcase? You can contact the CMC at 459-4788 extension 115 or email Julie at grcmc.org. Thanks for watching GRTV.